Hey, welcome to Van's Tried It. Today, I'm going to be taking two of my personal comfort foods and combining them together into one delicious dish. I'm going to be making caramel apple cinnamon rolls. These two great flavors go so well together. So let's go ahead and get started. But while we're doing that, would you go ahead and go down in the comment section? Let me know what is your favorite comfort food. And while you're down there, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Don't be afraid to ring that bell. That way you get notified whenever I post new videos. So let's get started. We're going to start off by checking out the temperature of our milk. I have 1 cup of milk, but it's really important. This is really the key part of making anything where you're using yeast, which is what we're going to be using, and that is you need your liquid to be between 120, 130 degrees. I've had this in the microwave for 1 minute, but it's still only just a little bit over 100 degrees, so we need to get it a little bit hotter. So let's go another 30 seconds, and then we'll get back to you when I test it again. All right, let's see what we have here. So we are at just a touch over 130, which is just right. We don't want it too much over 130. You start getting up into the 140, 150 range, you're actually going to damage your yeast and it's not going to activate. And that's really what we're wanting. We're wanting our yeast to activate. So we're going to put this cup of milk in here. And then the next thing we're going to put in here is our yeast. This is 1 package of instant yeast. And that just means it's fast-acting, and you want to use the fast-acting yeast in here. And so we're going to add to that 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of softened butter, and 1 egg. And we're going to get this mixed up in here real quick. And already what we have, and you'll be able to smell it, we already have our yeast starting to activate. You'll get that yeasty smell coming up out of your liquid. So we just got that mixed up a little bit. Now what I have here is 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to put it in our mixer. And we're going to be using our bread hook here because we're making basically a bread dough. We're going to put that in there, and we're going to first start off really low at the lowest setting. And once that starts to get incorporated and you start to see that it's not just flour sitting on top, then we're going to go up to a medium where we're going to let that go. We're looking for a couple of things. First off, we're going to see the dough start to pull away from the outside of the bowl. And the second thing is, once we test it, so we'll turn it off, we'll test it. And we're looking for our dough to be kind of like the texture of Play-Doh. And one of the things that means is that when we touch it, it ought to push in really nice, but it ought not to be really sticking to our finger. So we're going to go ahead and get this started, and I'll get back to you when we're ready to go to the next step. All right, so and I can already tell our dough is a little bit wet. That happens sometimes. It's a really easy solution. What we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of flour in here, and we're just going to keep going, adding that flour until we get the right texture. So I'll be right back as I grab my flour. We're just going to add just a little bit of flour. Okay, so we really are at the consistency that we want. Let me just grab the camera. I want to show you inside our bowl to see, so you can see kind of what it looks like in there, which is kind of what we're looking for. See how it's pretty clean around the edges of that bowl? That's what we're looking for. Now, I want to show you kind of what it looks like. See, when I touch it, it goes in, but it doesn't stick to my finger. So, our dough is where we want it. And now we're going to just transfer this to this large bowl over here. Get that off of there. And I have gone ahead and greased this bowl with some butter. And we're just going to put our dough in here. And we're going to let that yeast continue to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover this up with some plastic wrap. Just like that. And we're going to let this sit for 1 hour as that yeast works in there and that really begins to rise. So I'll see you in about an hour. Okay, so our dough has been resting for right at an hour, so let's take a look at it. And it is just what we're looking for. As you can see, it has just about doubled in size. And so now we're just going to take this right out of our bowl. And I have just put some parchment paper here on my stove top here. And just want to get a good press down on here. And I put some flour on here, so just roll it over one time. I like to just use my hands at the beginning. And then I'm going to take my rolling pin. We're just going to start to roll this out. And we're looking to get a nice rectangle here. And we're looking for it to be about 10 by 12. And we're just going to eyeball it. We're not going to measure it out, but you kind of want it to be about 1/8 of an inch thick here. And just kind of rectangly shaped. And then what we'll do is now we just go in here and we just begin to shape it more into the rectangle. Just kind of like this. And it does not have to be perfect by any means. But that's how we are. Right there is just what we're looking for. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take 1/2 cup or 1 stick of butter, and we're going to spread that out right here on top of our dough. Just like that. I'm just going to take our spatula here, and we want to get a good spread on here. We're pretty much going to take it right out to the edge, except for this back edge. We want to leave some space on that back edge where we don't put our butter, because we're going to be using that back edge to seal it up just a little bit. But we're pretty much going to go right out to the edge all the way around everywhere else. So we just get a good spread on here, kind of like we're frosting the cake. And we just need an inch, 1.5 inches on that back edge, so we can keep going out a little bit further there. Just like that. And just go ahead and get some of the last of this butter off of here. Just like that. Now, what I have here is 1/2 cup of brown sugar and 1 really healthy tablespoon of cinnamon. And so we're just going to sprinkle this over our dough here. And after we get some on there, then by hand we're going to finish the last of it up so we can get all the way out to the edges, because remember, we are going to be using all of this. We are not wanting to waste any of this space here. And now we just look for any spots that look like they don't have enough of this brown sugar mixture here. And that's where we'll put the last of it. Just like that. Simple, simple, simple. Now, here's where we get to the apple part. So this is 1 large Granny Smith apple. I have put this in the microwave for 1 minute. But if you don't mind them a little bit crispy, you don't have to microwave them a little bit. But my wife likes it if they're a little bit softer in here. So I went ahead and cooked them just a little bit. And we're just going to pour these right over here. Just like this. Same thing, we're just going to spread them out all over here. Get a nice spread. Now, depending on the size of apples you can find at the store, depends on how many you're going to use. Like I said, this was 1 large one, but they also had bags of like the really small Granny Smith apples. And so if you are getting a bag of them like that, then you'll want to do 2, maybe even 3 of those really small ones. So just however you like it. Here's the thing, you can always cut up more. And what I've done is I've really kind of diced these up pretty small, like 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch was kind of my goal here. So they will cook even a little bit better when they're cut up like that. So we have all that put together. And now we're just going to start to roll this up. And we just kind of wanted to roll it evenly all the way around. And you can see right here, it kind of lost some of its rectangularness, and we just go ahead and just keep adjusting it as we can. And you want to roll this pretty tight, so you don't want there to be a lot of loose dough in here. And we're going to roll this right up to the edge of where we stopped with the butter and the toppings and all that. And now what I have over here is just a little bit of water. So I'm going to take a little bit of that water and I'm just going to run it right along. I don't want to get it super wet. I just want to moisten this edge right here, so that when I pull this up like this, that water is going to help it to kind of glue it together right in there. So between the water and pinching it a little bit, it's really going to start to seal up. And if you want to, you can run some more water over there. Just make sure it gets a nice seal right here. That's just so that it doesn't start unrolling while it is cooking in there. And then what I like to do is I like to go ahead and flip it over before I cut it. Put it seal side down. And we're going to cut this into 12 pieces. So we grab our serrated knife, and you could measure this, but really I'm just going to eyeball it. So I just cut one right there, and then one right here, and one right here. So now it's cut into 4s, and now I cut each of these 4s into 3, and 3 times 4 is, that's right, 12. So just like this. Okay, now what I have here is a 9 by 13 pan. I went with a deeper dish pan because we're going to let these rise a little bit now once again. And so we just want to put these in our 9 by 13 just like this. If anything falls out, just find a nice little spot to stick it back in there. Just like that. Now what we're going to do, flip that one over. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put some saran wrap back over this and let it rise for 45 more minutes before we put it in the oven. So I'll see you in 45 minutes when we're ready to put it in the oven. Okay, so our caramel apple cinnamon rolls have continued to rise up here in the pan, and they have all kind of come together, which is just what we're looking for. Now we're going to put them in this 350 degree oven for about 22 to 25 minutes. So I'll see you when these are ready to take out of the oven. Okay, so our cinnamon rolls are out of the oven. They're cooling off just a little bit. So we have our cinnamon rolls. They're filled with apples, but these are caramel apple cinnamon rolls. So now it's time to make the caramel topping. So we have a pan here heating up, and into that pan we're going to put a half a cup or 1 stick of butter. Just like that. And then to that we're going to add half a cup of brown sugar. And so we're going to just melt this all right in here together. And we just want to keep this stirred up the entire time as this all melts down so that nothing burns. And we want to keep this on a really low temperature. Do not turn this temperature up. You are going to make a big mess if you turn your temperature up. So we're just going to keep this butter and this sugar melting just right here, all right here together, so that as it's melting, it just combines together and is going to make just a beautiful sauce right here. And the main thing is just don't let anything harden on the sides or on the bottom of your pan. And just keep it going, keep it stirring, just so it all just continues to just mix together super well. All that sugar is breaking down and starting to liquefy and combining right there with the butter. And we really like it when that butter melts really slowly. If you get it all melting at once, then what happens is you have a hard time really incorporating the butter and the sugar together. But if you let that sugar melt and then that butter just slowly melt into it and you're stirring it, you are just always combining just a little bit more butter, a little bit more butter, and that is exactly what we're looking for. Just like that. So all our sugar is melted, all our butter is combined in there, and now what we're going to do is we're going to add to this 1/2 of a cup of heavy whipping cream. We're going to go ahead Get that all combined together, just like that. And right now we're just kind of looking for a consistent, really golden tan color in here. And we're looking for it to not have the swirls in it anymore. We want it to all just be one consistent color, just like that. Now, here's the beauty of it right here. We're going to go ahead now and we're going to turn up our temperature just a little bit to like a medium low, and we're going to start to let this start to boil. And once it starts to boil, we're going to let it boil for 2 minutes. And when it has boiled for 2 minutes, this is going to be a beautiful, delicious caramel sauce. And there you go, it's boiling right there. Set our timer, 2 minutes. And go. And we're still going to want to stir it this 2 minutes while it's boiling. So we don't want anything to burn and stick to the bottom. You don't have to do a really aggressive stir on here. You just want to just be scraping the bottom as it's all boiling. So we are a minute in, we are halfway through with this caramel sauce. And this is exactly what we're looking for with this boil. We're looking for a nice hard boil. And what's happening right now is all the liquids are evaporating out of here. So that when we get done here in another 40 seconds, we're going to have a really nice consistency and a beautiful flavor here to this caramel sauce. Now, if you want to, you can add some vanilla to your caramel sauce. I didn't add any today, but sometimes I do. It just kind of depends on what kind of mood I'm in. But you could make this a salted caramel sauce. You could get some like sea salt or some flake salt, and you could add that in here, and that will give you a nice salted caramel. And there is our 2 minutes. And we're going to turn our heat off, and we're going to turn our timer off, and we're going to take this off of the heat, and we're just going to let it cool off. You can see just what a beautiful consistency this is. And as it starts to cool off, it starts to thicken up just a little bit. And so we're going to let that cool off for about 3 to 5 minutes. And so after that's cooled off, we'll come back. We're going to pour it on top of our cinnamon rolls. Then we'll have our caramel apple cinnamon rolls, and we'll be ready to give them a taste. So we'll see you in about 5 minutes. Okay, our caramel sauce has rested a little bit, and it is the consistency we want it. So now we're going to pour it over our cinnamon rolls. Oh, yeah. Get all that caramel goodness out of there. So now it is time to give these a try. So let's try this one right here in the corner. Just like this. So we have the apple, we have the caramel, we have the cinnamon, we have that beautiful yeast roll on here. Let's see how it all comes together. Oh wow. That homemade caramel sauce, just delicious. You got the apples in there. The cinnamon roll itself is delicious, even if you didn't have the apple and caramel on here. But all of it together just works so beautifully. And like I said, it just brings two great comfort foods all together in one tasty treat. I tell you what, if you're looking for a nice dessert to serve to company, or maybe you're going to go to a potluck, you can bring this caramel apple cinnamon roll. And I'm telling you what, if they love cinnamon rolls and apples and caramel, they will really love this. Hey, I tell you what, I tried it. You should too.